let's close with some lad of the week. Will, why don't you, actually, you know what? Mine's going to be very deep into the weeds, college football type stuff. So why don't you start?
Yeah, so mine's pretty easy. I feel like I've been getting a little bit too sappy lately, so I'm just gonna make this one very bread and butter, blocking and tackling, as we say. Paul Skenes, man,
Heard of
my
him?
guy. It's always nice when you can be a little bit of a homer and it pays off, right? Got to see him in person for the first time, in Atlanta watching against the Braves, and it was so sick. Like this is my exact style of pitcher. Like we've talked about the two different like kind of styles of pitcher, right? Where there's like the Maddox on one side with the control. Skeens is like watching a medieval siege engine just destroy a castle. It's like watching House of the Dragon. It's like watching a dragon blow up a castle. And it's so funny because in two back-to-back starts, so it was the first pitch that got taken out of the yard in the game before the Atlanta game, and then in the Atlanta game, the first batter hit a home run. And I was there with my girlfriend Andre, and I looked at her and I was like, "Here's the thing: he just gives up home runs, and then it's just fine." And it's the craziest thing that every pitch is that outcome. It's either this is kind of like Max Scherzer was one of my favorite baseball players ever. He's like that with more velocity. It's the most nuts thing. 6'6" right hander. If you guys haven't been keeping up with him, but the way that he can throw these insane like middle of the fifth inning, about to wrap up his day of work, 100-mile-an-hour fastball for a strikeout that they can't even get near. So yeah, he was named to the All-Star team. First rookie pitcher to ever be named an All-Star, which is crazy. I believe he actually is starting. I think they're still working through that. But the thing that actually blew my mind is the first time in MLB history that for 9 of a pitcher's first 10 starts, they had double-digit strikeouts. That is nutso. So the fact that, again, kind of a cheat code because he came through the Air Force Academy, transferred to LSU. So he's a little bit older than most rookies, certainly a bit bigger. But the concept is kind of like Zion, where it's like, surely Major League hitting will catch up to this guy. No, it turns out if you could just throw 103 in the third inning, people are not used to that.
My father-in-law is a big Pirates fan.
Mm-hmm.
We text baseball a lot. That's usually where most of my baseball consumption is filtered through these days.
Mm-hmm.
And I was saying to him, because he's already worried about when he's going to leave for the Yankees or something. As sad as it is, that's the life of a small market Major League Baseball fan.
Mm-hmm.
And I said to him, I think he's going to be easily better than any Cubs pitcher in my lifetime, which is depressing because if you're going to include Maddox, you have to include Maddox when he was on the Cubs and stuff, which he was really good. But
Right.
Skeen's going to win Cy Young. I wouldn't bet against it at this point. Not this year, probably, but still, like that
Mm-hmm.
seems inevitable. And you kind of think about it in those terms, and you realize, oh yeah, this guy's pretty freaking special, and
Yeah.
you cherish every single year start that you have with him. Like I miss that. That's kind of the fun, unique thing about baseball of like you could be a diehard fan and there are certain games where like I remember when I first got down to Orlando and I had like the MLB radio subscription and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that. And it was I would listen to every single like most every Cubs game, but when it was peak Jake Arrieta,
Mm-hmm.
that's when I listened. I was like, I'm going to make sure that, maybe I can get some work done early or something like that, or I will
Yeah.
have that on while I'm doing something. It is appointment listening to me. Yeah, I was a little bit old fashioned with radio, whatever. It's like $19 for the year. It was worth it.
Mm-hmm.
And Skeens is now easily already that guy. Like if you ask me, what are the odds I'm going to watch the MLB All-Star game? Probably not great, but with him pitching, I'm like, oh, I want to be able to see that. We'll be, in Dallas, albeit a half hour away.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure a lot of people will want to venture because Skeens will be there and he'll be on the bump, and that's cool. Baseball needs more of that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's so crazy too watching a guy like we talked about figuring it out and stuff. How he was kind of just like kind of had like ROTC guy vibes, like big smile, kind of like it was just he seemed like he was just being like kind of stopping off before his like service career, and then you could just see every year him getting cooler. Like just him being like, huh, like it's like watching an anime character come to terms with their superpowers. And the thing that's so funny too, I already compared him to like one of the dragons in House of Dragon, but how well their offense does when he pitches. that's like he's been in line for a ton of wins because it's like, I got this thing on my side. I'm going to swing for the fences, buddy. We're going to be fine. And just the way that this really middling Pirates offense becomes a pretty solid team against good teams where it's like, oh, wait, you're not going to be able to hit our guy and we are going to be able to hit your guy. So, yeah, I'm right there with you. It's appointment viewing for sure.
What a feeling, man. What a feeling. Just let it rip every single time. We're not shortening up on 2 strikes. Screw that. No, Skenes is on the bump today. We're good. If we can strike out.
It's over for you, buddy.
Oh, gosh. All right, mine's going into the weeds. Ryan Bamford, the UMass AD. Okay? If you saw the video on Twitter from GoFed or GFed Go Crazy, didn't get his actual name, does like college football stadium tours on TikTok and stuff like that. If you saw the video, you know what I'm getting at here. He tweeted this video of UMass's football stadium, and that place is so forgettable. I've had to watch the video like 3 or 4 times to remind myself of the structures that are actually in place there, because it's bad. If you just said this is actually a random high school in the Northeast, nobody would push back at all. Okay. And I did like a little bit of like the Wikipedia digging around just because I had to see the story of the stadium. They got lights in 2008, which was the same year that my high school got lights as the last team in our conference to get lights in high school. All bleacher seats, not even real concourses. It's just the most nothing burger stadium that you'll ever see. And it'll come as no surprise that I shouldn't say no. Core 4 teams aren't exactly lining up to be able to go there. But
our guy,
there is one Core 4 team who agreed to go to UMass to play an organized game of tackle football there. And that is Mizzou.
Yep.
An SEC team who could very likely be undefeated and in the top 10 could be playing actual football at this place. Luther Burden III is going to walk on that field. And I'll just say it so he doesn't have to, or nobody at Mizzou has to say it. That man is too good for that. Okay? He is too good to be on that field. I think the pre-2023 version of Brady Cook is too good for that field. All right? So how did this deal come to be? Where did our guy Ryan Bamford factor into all of this? Okay?
Yeah.
If you remember from a pod that we did in December with SEC schedule superlatives. This is
one of my favorite wormholes that we go on, is how they love sickos at UMass. Let's do it.
I've spent so much time and energy digging into this and reading stories about it because it's fascinating. I'm not saying I'm going to write a book about this, but my gosh. Okay, so Ryan Bamford, the UMass AD, pitched to then Mizzou AD Jim Sturk back in 2019. And this pitch was a masterclass. He tells Mizzou, look, we're an independent. You guys do not want to do what Georgia and Auburn do to be able to play us, which is pay us $1.9 million to get your automatic win. Okay, that's what both of those teams did. You, Mizzou, have 2 spots that you need to fill. 2024 and 2025. We are an independent. We have flexibility. We can make this happen. You name a date, we're there. We'll do it. Save some money. Come up to UMass in 2024. Let's help each other. And for whatever reason, Jim Sturk, he gets bullied into doing this and not playing at Gillette, where usually they play teams like Boston College or something like this, which is 100 miles away.
That's
from
what
their
I was going to
campus.
say. They couldn't even get in Gillette Stadium.
They couldn't even do that. As the story goes in the Daily Hampshire Gazette, support local journalism, Ryan Bamford talked to a former UMass employee who worked at Mizzou, and he got them to vouch for the facilities and the plans to upgrade the UMass stadium. He got an employee who used to work there to be like, yeah, man, it's good. It'll be fine. Don't worry about it. Just sign on the dotted line. Make this happen. Ryan Bamford rules, okay? I said before, I'll say it again. I want that guy negotiating my next contract. I would love that. I really would. Why is he also noteworthy right now? He got UMass into the MAC for 2025. Starting in the 2025 school year, UMass will be a member of the Mid-American Conference. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
As in the conference that had not had a team join since Buffalo in 1998. He got his program into a conference that has an actual identity and will have
Mm-hmm.
games on ESPN in the middle of the week that we call Maction. And we'll be able to flip on UMass on a Tuesday night and see this team play football in that stadium. And here's the crazy thing. They did a major stadium renovation in 2011 when they announced they were going to be joining FBS, a move that was kind of scrutinized. So this was the renovation that they did just to get to FBS standards.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what their stadium looks like. Yet Ryan Bamford, 8 years after all of that, was like, hey, Mizzou, we're going to upgrade this thing by the time you have to come here. And he pulls it off. That's incredible. You know those people that could just sell you anything? I always think this is fascinating. Ryan Bamford has been selling, he sold lemonade as a kid for $20 a cup. I'm convinced. That there's no doubt in my mind whatsoever. That guy did not have a penny of student loan debt by the time he graduated college because he just hustled and find ways to be able to talk people into giving him money. There's zero doubt. Game of the year, October 12th, 2024. Mizzou at UMass. Mizzou is going to be playing a game at Kyle Field one Saturday, and the following Saturday it'll be playing at UMass. All because Ryan Bamford, easy lad of the week.
So this guy, again, this is one of my favorite rabbit holes. This guy looks very young, like let's call it late 30s, early 40s. And I clicked on his Wikipedia, and what it looks like, he took over the job in 2015 at UMass, and the first thing he did was raise a banner honoring Calipari, who got them in trouble. And I love you, Ryan Bamford, because you raised a banner for Calipari instead of erasing and pretending like that didn't happen. You know, like who could forget? You know, Marcus Camby and those boys love that, generated a lot of buzz, which is what your job is. And then you were able to move your university into the FBS and into the back the following year. Like the concept of what's up?
Time heals all wounds, Will.
Yes. Yes, and it had been, decades before that. This guy showed up. It was just like, bleep it, we ball. Like from day one was like, I'm going to generate headlines. I'm going to move us up. I'm going to do this. This is the classic, like you're just home to dumb going through your day as like the Mizzou athletic director. You're like, yeah, let's just call UMass. And it's like, what's that guy on, huh? And it's like, wait. You look back, it's like, I may have made a horrible mistake here. This guy at UMass I did not read the scouting report on him.
I just want to go back in time and find when Jim Sturck hung the phone up that day and he thought, what just happened to me? I just signed my life away. This was a horrible, horrible deal. Why in the world is Mizzou playing here? It makes no sense whatsoever. And I just like, I don't know. I'm not trying to get political or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? Let's get some ideas going. Let's everybody groupthink, okay? Let's make this happen. All right.
This is the perfect American to celebrate on the 4th of July week, which is that this guy just said, you know what? This is how things used to be done. No taxation without representation. No, I'm not going to show up to your football stadium and get blown out. I'm going to do it this way. Everybody else, kind of like the colonies, were like, all right, dude, what? Oh, no. This is now a big problem. And you know what? You're a great American this week. You were an independent. You used that leverage. Coming into an SEC school like the Godfather and be like, I'm going to make you an offer you can't refuse. It's like, okay, man, you got it.
If we find out 5 years from now that Ryan Bamford is in prison and he had identity theft issues, I'm not going to say that I'm going to be stunned.
Yeah.
But I'll be waiting on him to talk his way out of it, find a way to show that he didn't get a fair trial. His lawyer was inept. And there's no way that he should be serving this time. And then he's going to find a way to be out and selling something and just keeping it moving. That's the Ryan Bamford way. So seeing this stadium,
imagining Leo as Jordan Belfort when I looked him up, and he kind of fits. Like he kind of fit. Hit him up. See if we can get him on the podcast. I mean, come on, let's do it.
I may or may not have, but definitely did start following him on Twitter an hour before we started recording. So
Yeah.
TBD. We'll do what we can.
Interview with like the keys to your car. You'd be like, "Where'd those go? What?" He like pulls them up from behind his ear.
Like, did he just divorce my wife for me? What? How did Ryan Bamford do this? Unbelievable.
You can't keep getting away with this, Ryan Bamford. Also, if you're unhappy with your AD as an SEC guy, there's the top of the list right here. Because whatever you need him to do, he can do it.
This man is making moves. Look, South Carolina, I'm just saying. Mizzou's kind of had your number a little bit recently. You want somebody that's got Mizzou's number, call up Ryan Bamford.
There goes that man.
All right. If you haven't, leave us a 5-star review. Subscribe to our YouTube channel where you can watch every single episode of the Saturday Down South podcast. Follow us on Twitter at the SDS Pod, at Sat Down South, at CJ O'Gara, at Go So Hard. Thanks, guys. Talk soon.